Functions in JavaScript. What are they? Why are they so important? And how do we create them? My name is John Elder from codemy.com, and in this video, we're going to be looking at all things functions in JavaScript. Now, a function is like a little program inside of your program, and they only get run when they get specifically called. So this is very, very useful for many different reasons, and we're going to look at all these reasons in this video. So let's head over to our code. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor in the Git Bash terminal as always. And as always, you can find a link to the code in the pinned comment section below, as well as a link to the playlist with all the other videos in this JavaScript series. So check that out if you haven't so far. So I've got a file, I'm calling it functions.html. It's the same starter code we've been using forever here. And let's just come down here and create a function. And to create a function, it's super easy. You just call the function keyword here and then name your function. So let's call this hello. And then we use parentheses as always here. And then we use our curly brackets. Now this looks a lot like an if statement, right? So if we did like if or like a for or whatever, the same kind of structure. We've got parentheses followed by little brackets, and the stuff inside these brackets is our function. It's whatever we want to happen whenever this function runs. So let's grab our document right that we've been using forever here and just pop this onto the screen here. And then inside of here, let's just have it say hello world. So let's go hello world. So this is a very simple little function. We can go ahead and save this. Now here's the interesting thing, the little tricky thing here. If we save this and run it, we head back over to our web browser and I'm in my C JavaScript directory and let's run our functions.html file. When we do that, nothing happens. It doesn't say hello world. Why is that? Well, like I said earlier, functions only run when you call them. They're like little programs inside your program. And regularly with JavaScript and HTML in this case, we have something called program flow. We start at the top here and the interpreter or whatever, the web browser in this case, reads the first line, then it reads the second line, the third line, and it just keeps going down and it executes everything it sees. Well, here with a function, it sees it, it reads it, it understands that it's there, but it doesn't execute it because it's a function and functions only get executed when you call them. So how do we execute? How do we run a function? Well, let's go run our function here. Let me bring this down. To run any sort of function, and this is true in basically all programming languages, you just call the function. And we use our parentheses here. So now, if we save this and run it, we see hello world gets printed onto the screen. Very cool. Now, right here, I've just sort of document written out in our function. And normally, I mean, you could do that, obviously, we just did. That's not really what you want to do with a function. Usually with a function, you want to return something, right? So let's say, what do we want to return? We want to return whatever is in here. So let's comment this out. This function gets run and it returns this, whatever's in here, right? Well, now if we run this, if we save this and come back over here and hit reload, we're not going to get anything. Why is that? Well, because this is sort of important. We returned it, but we didn't do anything with it, right? So if we wanted to actually print it onto the screen, we would have to document write it out. So let's go document.write and then put all of this, whatever gets returned from running this function, we'll just get, document written out on the screen. Now, in this case, if we save this and run it, we're going to get what we expect, hello world. So sort of keep that in mind. You can do it either way. It's sort of more best practice to just return because a function is usually going to do a lot of stuff, a lot of things, right? Because a function is usually going to do many things. We've just done one thing here, one little line of code, but your function could have hundreds of lines of codes, dozens of lines, thousands of lines, right? And then when it does all that stuff, it's going to return something at the end of all that. And then you're going to return something like we've done here. So it's sort of, best practice to return from a function. You don't have to, like we just saw, but that's the best thing to do. So, okay, that's cool. What else can we do with this? Well, we can pass stuff in to our function by passing it in right here, right? So I should mention we're document writing this out to the screen. There's many different ways you could do this. You could say let something equal hello like that. And then you could come down here and print out something, right? Create a variable, assign whatever gets returned from this function into the variable, and then use that variable to do something later on. That's usually what you're going to do, something like that. I don't want to make this that complicated, so we're just going to keep it like this. So back to passing things into a function. Like I said, we can pass things into a function. Let's say we wanted to pass a name. So I could type in quotation marks and John. So the structure of this stays the same. If I kind of just print this onto the screen, we're calling our function. We've got our parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we're passing some attribute, something, right? So now we have to change our function around. We need to account for information getting passed to our function. And we do that right here. So let's create a variable and let's call this, I don't know, let's call it first name. Now this variable is going to be local to just this function. Like I couldn't come out here and, document dot write first name, right? This would not work because this variable can only be used inside of this function, right? So let's sort of keep that in mind. But now inside this function, we can use this variable. So let's come down here and let's say instead of hello world, let's say plus, and then print out first name, and then maybe another plus, and let's give an exclamation point because heck yeah, this is exciting. So now we've got first name, we're passing this in. Now we can use this however we want inside this function. So if we save this, come back over here, hit reload, it would be as you would expect. Hello, John, woo, exclamation point. There we go. So we can pass more than one thing here. We could say John and Elder, right? But again, up here, we have to account for that. Let's say we don't account for that. Let's just save this. We're going to get an error here. So if we hit reload, well, now it still says John, but if we came down here and went like this and then say last name, we don't want quotation marks. And again, let's do a exclamation point. So if we save this, now we come back over here and hit reload, we're going to get just nothing. I suppose there's no error, but it's just nothing because we haven't accounted for it up here. We're passing two things, but we've only got one thing in our function here. So we have to create another variable. So we'll call this last name. All right. So there are two items here that we're passing, and now we have two variables. The first thing listed here is going to be the first variable listed here. The second thing listed here is going to be the second variable. JavaScript knows to match these up, right? So, all right, let's go ahead and save this and run it. And it's going to say, hello, John Elder, woohoo, exclamation point. And there we go. So those are functions, super easy, but just incredibly important, right? You're going to use functions for everything. Now, one nice thing about this is like we can take this code and put it anywhere, right? It's kind of weird to have a giant function right in the middle of your HTML page, right? So we talked about way back at the beginning of this playlist, we can get rid of this and, for instance, come up here to our head tag. And maybe we want to put this in our head tag. So we can create a script tag and then close that script tag. If we save this, and let's come down here and change this a little bit just so we make sure. Let's call this Tim Elder. I don't know any Tim Elders, but I'm sure they're out there. Now if we hit reload, it says Tim Elder. The program hasn't essentially changed at all, but we've moved all of that functional code way up here, sort of gotten it out of the way. And that's nice, right? We could do that, but we could also create another file. So let's go File New, and let's paste in that code. And let's file save as, and inside of our same directory, let's call this my function.js. Change this to JavaScript. There we go. We already have a my script. Now we're going to call this my function. And if we save this, now we've got this code in a separate file, which is super useful, right? Now we can come up here and instead of printing all of this in our head, which is, kind of sloppy, we can instead just give an src and pass in my function.js. That should now load that script in the background, which is this thing right here. And then when we want to call it, it will return this. Of course, it returns it down here. And then we can print it out onto the screen wherever we want to print it out onto the screen. So if we save this, come back over here, and hit reload, nothing has changed. Let's go ahead and change this back to John Elder just to make sure this is running and working. So we make a little change. John Elder, boom, hello, John Elder, and that is awesome. So a lot of times you're going to do something like this. You're going to put all your functional code in some other file, get it off the web page, get it off the website, and then call it from your web page. It's just better for program flow. It's better for readability. This is obviously much less code on your HTML page, which is always a good thing, and very, very cool. So I'm going to come back down here and paste this back in just so that it's in the code if you want to check the GitHub repository later on. But again, just remember, probably better to put your functions in their own file, especially if they're very complicated, if they're very complex, if you've got hundreds and hundreds of lines of code, right? You're going to put that in another file. And even here, like, let's look around in our Bootstrap. Let's see, this is the style sheet, maybe down here at the bottom. Yeah, right here, we're doing that exact thing right here at the bottom of the screen with our code. This is the Bootstrap template file code that is just sort of standard that comes with Bootstrap, but they're calling a JavaScript file right here, this bootstrap.bundle.min.js, which is usually something that deals with like animation. So if you've got like a nav bar at the top and you click on it and a little thing drops down, that's usually JavaScript, and that stuff is probably in this file. And so that's how that works. But you can see we're using functions and things in this file, and we didn't even realize it. Super useful, and that's all there is to it. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off lifetime membership. So that's access to all my courses, over 60 courses, thousands of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 190,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from Codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.